remember that the stable boy seemed to not be from lice, certainly.
There aren't any others?
She can look, but it doesn't seem like they're the ones who are sort of out
Hmm.
talking to people. She could try to go into the kitchens and such. Generally, that would be a bit pushing it as a guest, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to hear any other Bravosi? Or Bravosi looking
Not at the
interested?
moment, though perhaps people will show up later. Or maybe they're
Uh,
talking to other people.
will she hear of you someone speaking the common tongue? Or Bravosi?
Well, she hears Ashra from a room talking about his many deeds at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am not interested in Ashra. He doesn't have what
She
I
can talk
need.
to the stable boy.
That's the most important part, right?
Ashra? Or the stable boy?
I was joking about Ashram.
Oh, right.
Stupid kid.
Um, I seriously doubt. Well, maybe, but he wouldn't have asked his name. I seriously doubt that the stable. Well, maybe. Sure.
Or you can approach him. He's sitting here taking care of a horse, sort of brushing it,
Mm.
looking a little slightly terrified at Hugo, who is massive and who's sort of intimidating in stature.
Nemo will smile and say, "Want to earn some silver for giving some info?
Says, "Well, what would you like to know?"
I'm looking for someone.
Well, who would that be, milady?
A Caladan, called. What was his name again? I keep forgetting. I need to write it down. Halen.
Says, I don't know about the name, but there were Caladans who came here just yesterday.
Well, I'm looking for one who traveled alone. Probably with some peak.
To think, I haven't seen what would the peak look like?
Nemo will explain the peak sigil.
She says, no, they haven't been here for quite a while. Perhaps they will arrive soon.
Nemo nods.
Perhaps they travel without their sigil. Many do that now.
Have you heard the name Halen been muttered anywhere?
Maybe I have.
Nemo throws him to silver.
Takes it, sort of looks at her, narrows his eyes, says, yeah, it's I've taken care of his horse sometimes.
Is he here?
I don't think he's here yet. He usually arrives late, speaks to the lady, and then leaves. Doesn't seem like he enjoys the company.
Hmm.
Pockets his silver, sort of after looking at it and biting it.
You can bite it all you want, it is legit. Nemo will nod. Thank you.
He doesn't think he would know like what he's looking for when he bites it. It's
No.
just something he's seen people do.
Yeah.
He says, if you need anything else, just ask. She gives you a smile. I know everything that goes on here.
Smiles.
He looks back at Hugo. Goes to procrastinate by feeding into the horse.
Hmm.
Hugo looks disappointed that he's not going to get the brushed now.
Procrastinate all you like. He'll be there.
Is there anything else I want to know from this kid?
You could, as a suggestion, metagaming here, ask him to seek out. Probably the easiest one to find would be Alaric, to tell him that Halen is here when he arrives.
You know what? I was thinking that, but how he can refine you, but I think I have an idea. Nima looks to the stable boy. How about that if this Halen Caladan appears, you leave a sign at the big horse.
What sort of sign? I could get in trouble if it's something too obvious. I'm not supposed to talk to anyone.
Do you have a knife?
Maybe I do.
Is there any obvious sign cut into the stable by Hugo?
No.
Make a cross by the big horse.
Why that would be cutting into the lady's wood. That would be dangerous for me. She looks at you, raising an eyebrow.
You're smart. Gives him a silver.
Sort of looks at it and says, I don't think I can take this for such a task.
What?
I don't think I can take silver for such a task. She sort of looks at you and says, it would be very dangerous. I don't think I dare.
He
I
wants
doubt
the
it's
job.
gonna be dangerous.
Sort of hands her back the silver and says, I'm sorry, but
All of it?
just the one that she gave him. It's simply too much of a risk. She looks at her.
Just leave something you can leave by the big horse. A
Sorry,
rock.
But if someone sees that there's a symbol there, then I'd be in danger. I'd have to have some way to leave quickly. And that sort of thing ain't cheap. I can't afford that sort of security.
Nima will look at the two silvers and, too bad. I guess you won't get any more silver from me. And
Froward says, I'm sorry, but
Well-
maybe I could do something else for you.
And what would that be?
Shrugs. What if I kick the rooster when he arrives? He'll make a noise.
Would Nima think that would make a lot of noise? That you would be able to even hear it?
He hasn't necessarily known anyone kick a rooster before, but he's offering to. I could do that for silver. That is not that dangerous. Nobody cares about him. He's old.
You throw some silver. Deal.
Fumbles and has to pick it up from the ground. He says, well, thank you. If there's anything else you want,
No.
you know where I'll be.
Nima nods.
Looks at the big horse. Frowns.
Nima looks at him. Careful, he has a first full fingers from little boys.
Oh, I was thinking of putting something in his food to make it easier. But I don't know if I have enough.
Nima shrugs. Too bad.
I'm sorry. She goes back to doing stable boy things. Moving poop and whatnot.
Nima compensates that if she'll ever be able to hear a freaking rooster.
Yeah, well, we'll see, I suppose. Back inside. What are the other three doing?
Well, I imagine one of the things Lanes would have done is essentially gone somewhere, possibly near the nice banquet table, and kind of just wanting to yeah, not nonchalantly, kind of just looking around and trying to see if he recognizes just anyone here else. Otherwise, he would like to see Halen. Alec hasn't seen so far.
Roll your memory.
Sure, I can roll memory.
Recognize anyone?
Uh,
You're fairly certain that you don't.
Okay then. As kind of looks around, sighing slightly as he enjoys a bit of a drink. Looks to Sir Alaric.
He looks very, very bored.
Seen anyone?
Does he?
No. No one that he knows anyway.
Yeah. Alaric will just shake his head. Looking very, very bored.
Perhaps he hasn't arrived yet.
Perhaps.
It's certainly possible.
As the day goes on, you just sort of hang around the banquet table, awkwardly not talking to a lot of people because you can't.
Yeah, Lance does occasionally try when he's, especially with groups where he sees there's like other people who are kind of struggling. It's like, okay, he won't be as out of place.
Yeah.
Can kind of join and try and mingle a bit.
Eventually, one of the guards, not one standing here, it's another one,
Copy paste, go.
comes
It's the seventh guard.
walking over to you, looking at you sternly with sort of dark purple eyes.
Lance, feeling the eyes bearing down upon him behind, will turn. Look up.
So,
Yes.
Say,
He says in blaring.
the Caladans are offered a visit to the ladies' hall. They'll say trying to make it simple, basically.
I consider if this game came up, if we wanted to do it or not. How about you? Good with this?
Yeah. Let's go and meet the
Turns
lady.
and begins to lead the way. Not really waiting too much for your answer.
Sure.
As we'll nod in agreement and follow on.
Cometh Mantha.
Manfred walks behind. And you're indeed led. Before, quickly, she's sort of sitting on a half chair. She's dressed very nicely in a long, what seems to be sort of a toga almost, of white silk with golden finery around. A lot of it, sort of her brooch, is a golden sort of apple shape sigil. Probably a gift from her lover. And she sits here with a glass of what is probably Lyseni wine in the hall of cider.
Okay.
The guards stand to the sides and to the side of the room. There's a lot of them, to say the least, and they seem very aware as you walk in with all your weapons and armors and whatnot.
Hey. He has armor.
Yes, he does. Quite a lot. Not for both of you, some would say.
This is where I want. This is where I would have wanted my shield. Damn it.
Let the words do the fighting, not your weapon. Advance will certainly, come in and, at a respectable distance, kind of give a respectful bow.
Sure.
Lady.
She will bow back. She will gesture for a servant to come over with some wine glasses for all three of you. Gesture for some half couches that are sort of set like over here and here, sort of a comfortable setting, even with all these eyes on you.
Advance will nod, taking a seat, turning to look at her, meeting his gaze, looking to Sir Alaric for a second, to you're just standing there.
Safe to say she's very beautiful, and Manfred is gaping a little bit. Even if she's quite a bit older than he is.
Alaric go
I
to
can
sit
perfectly
down.
understand. I can perfectly understand.
Yeah. Alaric will give Mantha like a wake up and keep paying attention. Kind of light pat on the back. And
He is paying
sit
attention. That's the
down.
problem.
Just sort of slump down and sit and still look too much. And none of that staring that she sort of looks back at him and just gives him sort of a smile, as she's used to this sort of reaction. As she looks back to you.
Alaric's seen many beautiful women. He's not that bothered.
She is probably in the top 5, definitely.
Top 5, shit. Very pretty then.
He's ever seen. She is incredibly beautiful, almost hauntingly so. She speaks in a very eloquent way. If there was no sound, you'd probably still be able to make out her words simply from the way she moves her sort of lips, keeping her head always a little bit up, looking slightly down her nose as she speaks, but being very courteous about it as you offered the wine. Has a very distinct smell to it. She look and says, "Welcome to Cider Hall." She speaks the common tongue to you. I am Lady Nuera, consort of his lordship of Fussaway. I'm glad to see you arrive at my little festivity. I hope you're finding yourself at home.
Yes, it has been a rather nice event overall, I must say. I thank you for your hospitality.
He bows her head again and says, "It is the least I can do for the people of the land. So many come here with the hope of speaking to me for one reason or another. I fear that my beauty may have something to do with it." She sort of chuckles slightly. Says, "Sadly for them, my heart is already captured by someone. Perhaps they don't believe it is true." She smiles slightly. "I'm curious, though, as to why you have come. I have not been told your desire to be here before, and I'm intrigued. If you would be so kind as to indulge me." He smiles.
Of course. Though, as you said, I am sure many come here for your radiance. He says with a slight smirk.
"Well, you fit in this company rather well yourself." He smiles.
That's nods. It is quite the change, actually, from the normal, well, how everything else seems to look at me in Westeros.
Nods as you would be well at home back in Lice, I believe.
He will thank her in Valerian for that.
He'll smile, clearly charmed by his effort.
Yeah, he can do basic things like saying thank you, just fine. So
She seems to speak the common tongue of Westeros pretty much fluently.
I'm sure she spent a lot of time learning it. As Mans kind of looks to her, well, we certainly came here, though not with the direct purpose of speaking with you, though I must say it is quite the pleasure.
And says, "Oh, my other guests, then. I should be so lucky to be overshadowed by their presence. Scholarly men, most of them, I should say, though I don't have a head for such things myself. It is good sometimes when I have queries about what sort of flowers grow in my land, that I can ask them."
Well, it is certainly not the scholars we were interested in. He has managed to make quite the crowd for himself, though.
And says, "He is a good man, I believe. A man of many talents. Useful man. It is sad that he has had to leave the City of Beauty, but hopefully I can give him a little bit of home here."
You've certainly done well with that. It is very much like what I have read.
Says, "It pales in truth, but I do what I can with what I have. Says, I would not want to tax my lord too much."
Of course. He has a soft smile, knowing what he has been told about her, but still. Since I've managed to have the grace of your company here, there is something I would like to ask you.
Says, "A favor. Of course, anything I can do."
More, I have we have been looking for a individual, and we wonder he is currently at your festivities or planning to arrive.
Oh, I should think I know anyone who's here. Well, most of them anyway. Some people show up for a day or two simply to speak to some of my other guests and then disappear again in the night. I let them, as I think hospitality is something that should be given out.
The respectful nod.
we seven have ever praised it as one of the highest virtues.
And it is quite the virtue to have.
She nods. Seven are the gods of the seven kingdoms. Such it is only right to appreciate their virtues as long as I'm here. So, who is it that you're interested in?
We are interested in what you know about a Halen Caladan, he says with a soft but slightly conflicted smile.
Sort of puts her finger at her lip, leaning back slightly, crossing her legs. Halen Caladan. That would be your older brother, would it not?
Yes.
Yes. I have spoken to him often enough, I should say. Quite the handsome man as well. In the family, perhaps. Gives you a smile.
Yes, perhaps.
He is not here at the moment, but when he arrives, I should certainly mark to him that you wish to speak to him as well. I'm sure he will be delighted. He has not had much contact from his family, as far as I understand.
Not for a lack of trying, I must say.
And says, yes, he has tried quite a bit. A shame, really. Sort of looks at you a little bit. Family should support family.
He looks curiously at her. Is she telling the truth?
Well, you can roll your notice empathy.
I want to spend a destiny point to convert my bonus die into a real dice
All right.
on this.
Well, some of it is the truth. Maybe she doesn't know just as much as she's saying. She seems to currently be telling you some of what you want to hear, simply to maybe seem a little more knowledgeable about the whole subject than she actually is.
It sounds from what you said that you know him very well then. There would not be something just that always comes up.
As I said, he has visited here frequently enough, and it is something he has mentioned multiple times.
I see. Ravens must have got lost on the way.
As it happens rather often around these parts, it's said that there are pirates on the rivers nowadays, and since we have two of them right across here, well, any ravens we have sent for him might have been taken down. I also understand that your lands have been plagued by many groups like the ones that we are suffering under. These people generally catch these messages, though I am surprised as to why they have not been held for ransom for you. We have certainly had pirates ask for us to pay for our letters to be delivered.
I cannot know for sure why.
I'm curious then about this. If you've had so many problems with it, have you... She looks and says, have you had problems with your god? My own turned out to be, well, rather infiltrated with these people, and so I had to exchange it for some people whom I knew would not conspire against me. She gestures to the strange foreign soldiers.
Max gives a nod to one of them.
They couldn't conspire even if they wanted to. They don't speak a word of the common tongue.
I suppose that is certainly a way of ensuring that does not occur.
She nods. I was rather furious with them. It was really the young Stefan who discovered it. But he would not have acted so rashly, and he scolded me rather furiously when I dismissed the entire garrison. I just could not accept to have spies and snakes in my own house.
You were
Such
looking
would
out
never
for
be
your
accepted at home, certainly.
You were looking out for your own. Respectable.
She nods. And my family was so gracious as to send these men, given adequate pay, naturally. What do you think about them? I do not believe many in Westeros have access to such, licentious soldiers. Well, I suppose they are from Volantis, but hired by us.
They certainly present quite the image of your homeland, and well, they
Not,
certainly look formidable.
we are not a warrior people on Lice. We prefer the softer things in life, but the Volantine certainly has that Valerian aesthetic. It is quite pleasing to the eye, I must say. I prefer this over the hauberk-clad. She sort of stops herself, just silly me. I'm talking too much.
I
Was there
understand.
anything else I could aid you with while you're here as my guests?
And Thanos sits back and muses slightly, swirling the glass as he thinks for a moment.
Hmm?
I'm sure the news of the various agreements going on overseas have been quite the interest to you.
She frowned slightly and says, "It is rather worrying, isn't it? Well, at least trade should be able to proceed now that the pirates have been, she says, well, made a deal with, though I'm not sure I agree with negotiating with such people.
It's a dangerous tactic for sure.
Well, perhaps it works. It seems that Mir has certainly been suppressed for once and the disputed lands parted, but this is, I don't believe that we have ever shared them with Tyrus since the Triarchy. That is hundreds of years ago.
Hmm. It's certainly a interesting development. We'll see if it lasts.
Peace is preferable, I believe, to conflict, though conflict certainly has developed, well, quite the market for gestures to these soldiers. I would not have been able to get them had the conflict still raged as it was. They came from the disputed lands, you know. Sailed to Old Town and marched up from there. Raised quite the amount of eyes, I believe.
I imagine it quite would.
You know, they didn't have any trouble, though. Because who would trouble them? Smiles.
Alaric smirks.
If they are upholding the laws, there is no reason to trouble them.
You know, indeed, they don't really. Well, the small folk can't speak to them as such, but perhaps this would encourage some of the little ones to learn a bit more about the lands outside of Westeros.
They have always been an important part.
The
Westeros-
dragons are from Valyria. They rule the land here, just as they ruled once all of the free cities.
He nods and smiles. I must subconsciously playing with his hair slightly, moving it back.
Yeah, she notices the effort and sort of does the same, really, brushing her own white hair back slightly, smiling a confident smile.
Thanos is rather amused by all this.
You should be around here more often. I'm really enjoying this company. Not as businesslike as most other people who visit. Drinks from her wine.
Not everything has to be business now, does it? Sometimes it's nice to just consider the world around us a little bit.
Yes.
Enjoy each
There's
other's company.
so much beauty to be found if one is just willing to look.
That there is. He says with us, and for a very soft smile to her.
So as he looks to the two others. Manfred's still just sort of staring at her, though as she looks at him, he sort of looks away quickly, awkwardly shuffling with something.
Thanos will visibly smirk to that.
And you, Sir Knight, she looks to Alaric. You must be tired wearing all that equipment. I can assure you that you are safe within my halls. No one would dare lift a blade or, well, even a knife. They've been instructed to take care of any such issues, and as our soldiers in the free cities, they are utterly loyal.
Alaric gives a slight smile and says, It's not the worry about knives or steel in general. It's just he kind of like lifts a hand, puts it on his like the underarm part of his armor and shakes it a little bit and says, "It's almost like a second skin to me." Smiles a bit.
It has such a fearsome look, too. Very Westerosi, as far as I understand. The steel and metal sort of knits her little fist. It's very, very fragile looking, really. She seems to not really have a lot of sort of strength to her. He says, it's all the fighting and the struggling and the sweat and such. I understand that's a big thing here. Though I still don't understand why. Sadly, it seems that those ways are lost on me. Perhaps I've been spoiled in the City of Beauty. Silks, music, wine. Smiles. Those are the things I can understand. As he raises a cup slightly.
Stannis will certainly raise his slightly.
Alaric will smile and say, "Perhaps some private tutelage on things you're not quite versed in." That gives a smirk.
So I think I could teach you quite a bit as well in a private setting. He gives you a grin. Though my Lord Fussaway would not appreciate such things. She grins. I must admit as well that since, well, going long term with him, I've had trouble thinking of anyone else.
Alaric smiles and says, "A long-term commitment is truly beautiful. A thing my companion that is not in this room with us has not gripped. Poor Asher Tyrell has never seemed to grasp that."
Puts her hands to her mouth. Yes, I heard he was here, though I have not spoken to him yet. It seemed with his reputation that it might be dangerous. I might be swept off my feet.
He smiles and says, "The
With
man
your
has many
radiance.
talents. With your radiance, it would not be surprising that he would at least attempt the act."
I'm rather skilled at rebuking such efforts, though. I have lived with them my entire life. As he drinks. Well, regardless, it's still a busy day, and I apologize for any rudeness that might be perceived, but were there anything else you would wish to ask me of? I'm afraid there's still a few more people in line waiting after you.
Of course, I understand. And that will be all for now. Though I do thank you for your company. And it was nice to just simply, in a sense, talk about, well, the beauties of the world.